Boom! What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Hey, we saw the love, we saw the support. Your favorite fragrance duo is back and better than ever. This time with a really special fragrance video because we've done a lot of these, we've done a lot of reviews, first impressions, but we've never had somebody send us fragrances until now. Now, I will put as a disclaimer, we did purchase this sample pack with our own money. But I'd like to give a special thank you to our boy Kevin from Scentual Obsessions for sending us, I just absolutely murdered the blue talisman dupe, but sending us either exact matches or fragrances that were inspired by both blue talisman and Lost Cherry from Tom Ford. And so inside of this, we have 6 5 mils. We have these 2 extra samples that got sent. We're just going to go through, review them, talk about them. Scentual Obsessions is kind of known, if you don't know who they are, they really specialize in doing a lot of like cheaper alternatives to really expensive fragrances. Like we got some Creeds, we got some Louis Vuittons, some Parfums de Marly's in here. And they're supposed to smell really close to the actual thing for a 10th to a 16th of the price. So could it be worth it? All those kind of questions and our first impressions are going to be analyzed and answered in today's video. You ready? Let's go. Let's just jump right into things. We got 6 fragrances. We'll save these 2 for last because we kind of have something special we want to say about them. I'm just going to pull one out. As you can see, you got the top right here if we're going to show some presentations. Inside here, enjoy your sample pack. And Canyon pointed this out. Big fan of the presentation. Like, honestly, a nice little kind of holder there for each of your scents. The packaging and stuff is very nice. Like, I'm a fan of the presentation. We have anything on the back? Yes. Scentual Obsessions. They even got the motto, "Our passion feeds your obsession." So, would you call me and Canyon obsessed with fragrances? Yeah, you probably would. And we're cooked. Anywho, let's just jump right into things. Like, presentation aside, we're here to smell these fragrances to see if they compare. And the first one I pulled out is New Horizons, which is supposed to be an exact match of L'Amicité by Louis Vuitton. And luckily for you, we've already sprayed these on a card. I've got the notes even written down. We got our notes ready. This is just supposed to be a freshie. It's got ginger, it's got bergamot, it's got amber. And man, as someone that smelled this at the Louis Vuitton store in Charlotte, North Carolina, for $40, what do you think, Canyon?
I mean, it's a freshie. You can wear it all year round, the Louis Vuitton. So then, we get the dupe in. It smells very similar, very nice. The ginger is really nice in this fragrance. And I'm a big amber fan as it is, so.
We don't have the actual Louis Vuitton to compare it to, but like, honestly, from what I remember smelling that one, especially that was one that I liked a lot out of the Louis Vuitton line. This is a really good, honestly, kind of an alternative. Like, we haven't worn it yet or anything. Like, this is still a first impressions, but I'm a fan. I'm honestly pretty pleased.
It would perform the best in like the spring and the summer because of the grapefruit in there, and the sweetness, but it's very close. Very close.
Absolutely. Absolute summertime beast, like you said. I cannot complain. And the liquid, fairly clear, just like the original Louis Vuitton fragrances, but honestly, cannot complain at all. You know what? Let's just run the Louis Vuittons up to start the video. Chill Obsession, which is inspired by Pacific Chill, which is one of the more, I guess you could say, summertime, fresh, really bright fragrances.
Very popular fragrance from Louis Vuitton.
Yeah. We got blackcurrant. We got a lot of, like, call me crazy, but it's got basil, lemon, and carrot seeds as a part of the fragrance. And honestly, like, I can kind of get the basil and the carrot seeds. Like, call me crazy. I'll let Canyon get a whiff. It's super fresh, kind of year-round, just like L'Amicité is. This is Chill Obsession, though, and it does a very good job kind of doing what Louis Vuitton's Pacific Chill does, and that's a summertime, beachy, I wouldn't necessarily say zesty, but it's kind of got bit of life to it, a bit of energy just when you're smelling it.
I'd say about this one's probably about a 95% match. I mean, it is like it's like about perfect match to the original Pacific Chill. You can smell the basil and the lemon heavily if you're a big lemon fan.
Yeah.
Big fresh fan, citrusy. You will really like this fragrance, especially if you've already smelled Pacific Chill. It is about 95% the same, and it is very, very cheap compared to any Louis Vuitton there is. But especially for it to smell about 95% match, I'll take the cheap all day long.
That's perfectly said. We were even told that Louis Vuitton specifically, Scentual Obsessions made really good Louis Vuitton fragrances. And I'm going to be honest, the source that told us that, they were not wrong. Like, they're low-key pretty spot on. This almost tempts me to go get something like an Imagination, if that's available, or anything else that they might have to offer just to see what their other Louis Vuitton stuff might be. But 2 for 2 so far. Very solid. We'll kind of give our overarching thoughts at the end. Let's see what we got here. Let's get a creed out of the way. King Cologne, which is obviously what you could probably guess, in Venice Cologne. Kind of the more, regular Venice is summertimey, but this is even more freshened up. A lot of citruses here. Pink peppercorn, ginger, mandarin, vetiver, patchouli, pineapple, birch, and musk. It's got that Venice DNA. Canyon really likes this one more so than the other Creed fragrances. Like, this would be his full bottle purchase.
Yeah. I'm a big Creed, a Venice Cologne fan. The original, it's one of the best everyday wears you can purchase. And after smelling this one, it's a hit too.
Yeah.
Yep.
You
can't go wrong.
We're gonna save the one that we had like the actual fragrance of at the very end, but we are very familiar. Trust me, y'all have seen our fragrance collections and the videos we put out. We're not living under the sea. We kind of know what these niche fragrances are putting out, so we kind of already have a reference point to where if that didn't smell like a Venice Cologne, we'd be like, yeah, like that doesn't. But we know it matched the citruses up very well. I'm a fan of Venice Cologne, or in this case, King Cologne from Scentual Obsessions. Let's go ahead. Let's just get another Creed out of the way as well. That's the last Creed. It is Absolute King, which is Absolute in Venice.
As you know, Absolute Venice is they have like a Triple H batch now, but like if you've looked into Absolute Venice, you can see the price tag. It is the most expensive by a wide margin. It's a black bottle.
Yeah. I would say it might be one of the most expensive fragrances there is. And this fragrance specifically, Absolute King off of Scentual Obsessions, is always sold out. And I think that's typically a good sign. We were able to get it like right when it got back in stock. But truth be told, like it's been a while since I've smelled the actual OG in Venice Absolute. But this gets the grapefruit, it gets the pineapple, it gets that like smoky vetiver kind of feel, the birch as it dries down. Honestly, another one that I'm a fan of. Like this, I can see why it's an exact match. I can see where they're going with this. Kevin and his entire team, I'll let Canyon get a whiff. But their entire team, especially with the Creeds and the Louis Vuitton so far, 4 fragrances deep, I'm pretty impressed for a $40 batch of it. You normally pay for what you get for, just like what Canyon said last week with the Lattafa, but I think
it's opening my eyes a little bit.
Yeah, what we put down financially, I think we're definitely getting a better ROI, return on investment, than what we put down. So, pretty impressed so far. This next one I'm very excited about, Eagle Star, which is a kind of exact match of Altair, which I'm super excited about. I told Canyon, upon smelling this before we got into things, it's almost got that Coca-Cola feel. You can smell a lot of the almond in here, the cinnamon, the bergamot, the cardamom, the bourbon vanilla, I think, is a middle note. I think there's pralines in there, musk. There's a lot going on, and this is one of PDM's more newer releases, but it's one of our favorites as well. Like, putting Sedley to the side, this has got to be a top 3 or 5 PDM scent. And once again, just going off of what we remember smelling, I'm impressed once again.
Altair is really getting really popular. If you haven't already noticed, a lot on TikTok and stuff. It's very gourmandy to me, and I personally like that a lot. If you've watched these videos, especially like the praline, you can smell a lot in it, and it smells very like. You got the sweetness, and it smells a little smoky too on the back end. It's very, very versatile. You can tell, and this one smells very similar, if I do remember, to the original. And obviously, like all of these, it's a quarter. It's more than a quarter of the price.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very nice. I've noticed with this one, and like a couple other ones I've smelled, the almond. I'm starting to like almond a lot in fragrances as well. And not a lot of people, like not a lot of companies use almond much. And if they do, it doesn't really work. But Scentual Obsessions has nailed another one.
Yeah, very impressed with the almond, especially with this kind of smell. This next one, I really don't know how much we can say on it because we've never smelled the fragrance. Like you want to talk about blind buy? Let's talk about Firepower, which is Scentual Obsessions version of God of Fire, which I've heard.
Stephen Humber Lucas, that's the company name.
I've heard some insanely good stuff. It's either kind of a love it or you hate it, as Kenyon's described it. But truth be told, like I'll just read you the notes: mango, lemon, pink berries, ginger, blue corian, jasmine, oud, musk, and amber. So it's kind of a loaded scent. But honestly, I am a fan of what I've smelled so far, and I'll put it to you this way. If you like God of Fire, I can already tell you that this would be a good investment because I've read reviews and talked to people that owned God of Fire itself, the fragrance that is multiple hundreds of dollars, and they owned the Scentual Obsessions version, Firepower, and they called it a 99% match. It's the closest dupe you could get out there to the actual thing, and it's at over a tenth of the price. Like, it's a penny compared to what you're paying for the actual God of Fire.
This fragrance is not going to be for everyone, the original or the dupe from Scentual Obsessions, because a lot of people, it's hard to please them when it comes to sweetness or like kind of like a zesty smell. But if you're into like very sweet, like, I don't even know how to like say, it's like a Smarties kind of flavor. It's like really sweet, and I personally think it's really nice, but I'm not big into like the zesty fragrances. So
it's got a ripe grapefruit, like it's ripe, juicy grapefruit on the top.
But it doesn't overdo it. It's not overdone. It's not something that you're gonna go out here and spray 8 to 10 sprays on and go out and do something around people because you're gonna choke them out.
No.
But it's something that's, you spray it like maybe 2-3 times and somebody gets close to you, then they'll be like, oh, what are you wearing kind of deal. Like, they'll like it, especially in the spring and summer. You're not going to be wearing this in like the winter or the fall. That's not what this was made for, but it's nice.
It's a summertime banger. It's got a sick bottle, the actual thing does, but like, truth be told, I'd rather smell like the actual fragrance than just have the bottle, you know. And granted, we've never smelled the actual thing, but our opinions of this fragrance are in agreement with all the other ones that we've read of people that own the actual God of Fire itself. They are raving over this 99% match, Firepower, which honestly, if that's what the real thing smells like, I'll just keep my Scentual Obsessions because, like, Kevin, his whole team, doing a great job so far. So 6 for 6, you could say. We saved these last two for last. We'll go with this one first, though, out of the free samples that we got. Cherry Blaze, which is supposed to be Tom Ford's Lost Cherry. There's a lot going on here, and I'm going to be honest. I wouldn't say this fragrance is necessarily for everybody. I would say that if it's in your taste, then go for it. But we've got bitter almond and black cherry in the opening, sour cherry, plum, rose, and jasmine in the middle, vanilla, tonka beans, cinnamon, and sandalwood. So you smell it, you get hit with that cherry, you get hit especially with the plum as well. It's super ripe, like it's almost like a cherry cut open. You can kind of smell like what that would smell like. I think maybe this is just me. This is kind of just my taste. I think this fragrance, personally, while it is very unisex and some men might like this
leans
scent,
more feminine.
I think there's a lot of
I
women that
agree.
could really enjoy this fragrance.
I smell like it's like a cherry, like almost like a cherry, like bush of flowers, kind of. Like, it's personally not for me. It's not like, I'm not big into like cherry notes, I've noticed. And florals, it's weird with me, but I can see why people would like this fragrance. Personally, I would not purchase this because it's not up my alley, but it leans more feminine, in my opinion, than other things would, but I can see why people like this.
Yeah, I mean, perfectly said. Everybody's kind of got their different tastes. Some people really like this stuff. And even if not, like, even if this kind of intrigues you, I think this could really do well on a female as well. So that's kind of just something to keep in the back of your mind. But honestly, we've smelled most of the Tom Ford stuff, especially the private blends. And once again, like, there's not any major alarms or things going off in my head that's like, yeah, this doesn't smell like the actual Lost Cherry at all. It's very much so in line. And if we're just going to stay on that kind of rabbit trail, speaking of fragrances that are very online, let's talk about this Blue Jewel, which is supposed to be a dupe of Blue Talisman. Now, luckily for you, and Kevin didn't even know this, so this is even cooler, we have the actual decant of Blue Talisman, and Canyon has sprayed both of them on his arm. I didn't tell him
about an hour and a half ago.
Yeah, I didn't tell him which one was which. And he even came to me before this video, didn't tell me which one was on which arm. I closed my eyes. And what did you find from that?
So we done the test. I just wanted to see his reaction after about an hour of wearing it, because, you know, a lot of people say that, like, people that make dupes can make them and the opening smells exactly the same, but the dry down is where the dupe loses it.
Yeah.
Compared to the original. So I sprayed it on, about an hour went by. I sprayed each of them on, and an hour went by, and I went in there, and I got him to smell both of them, and he personally said the dupe smells better than Blue Talisman, the original by Ex Nihilo.
Yeah. And not staged, not scripted. Like, I literally closed my eyes. I was sitting in his room on the phone. He just came in. I smelled them both. Like, this is honestly, out of the 8 fragrances we've smelled from this company so far, this has to be at least top 2. Like, at least top 2. It's got the bergamot, the ginger, the mandarin, the pear, the orange blossom, the musk, the ambroxan. Like, I kind of want to sit on it even more and just kind of see how it develops. But, I mean, truth be told, this Blue Talisman dupe is really, really good. And the fact that I, not even knowing which one was which, picked the Scentual Obsessions version over the original an hour after it's dried down. Like, I think that is the mark of a pretty good clone or dupe fragrance. So I'm a fan. I really am. And I know he loves that fragrance, especially. He's a huge fan of Blue Talisman. So to each their own, but I would highly go check this one out. Great summertime fragrance. One of the more unique blue fragrances on the market, and Scentual Obsessions does it really, really well. So, you got any closing thoughts? We're kind of wrapping all this up. I know we've covered a lot of information, but this is a big order, big kind of step in our fragrance journey.
Yeah, I got, like, when I first sprayed them on, the opening is like, I described it to Trevor as like the original Blue Talisman smelled like it was like a 3D, like you smelled it and you got like, it's like you were walking through a tunnel with all the notes. And you didn't smell that at first with the dupe, and I was kind of worried. And then as time passed, it just opened up, and then it almost smelled exactly the same.
It was almost scary. Like, the more it dried down, the better it got. The more, and that's the thing, is this is not even an exact match. You go on their website and you go type in Blue Jewel, like, it's not going to say an exact match. It's just going to say inspired by. And so the fact that they weren't even necessarily trying to copy it 100%, but yet it smells every bit of at least 97 to 98% like the original, that's even more impressive. Because they do have exact match fragrances. They do have things that are more so inspired. But either way, we're honestly very impressed. This is kind of just a first impressions video, and I know we covered a lot, but we still are going to wear these and kind of give them some more usages and just see kind of how they perform and things. But honestly, no complaints from us so far. Huge thank you to Kevin for sending us these fragrances, and the company's website will be the first link down in the description below. Go check them out. If you want to smell like $500 for less than 50, then I would highly, highly recommend Scentual Obsessions. They knocked it out of the park with this one. And honestly, I look forward to smelling some more of their fragrances and maybe getting some full bottles to review.
Absolutely.
So once again, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you, Kevin, if you're watching this video. We'll be back once again. Keep showing this video some love. Drop plenty of comments down in the section below. We'll be replying and kind of doing some feedback with all those. And we'll be back very, very soon. Hope y'all enjoyed this review of Scentual Obsessions. We'll see you in the next one. God bless.